thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome to my channel, Disney Fan in Japan. It's Halloween time at Tokyo Disney Resort. And you know what that means? It means it's also Halloween merch time. And this year there especially seems to be like a sort of explosion of merchandise. I mean, you have, of course, the park exclusive merchandise, as in merchandise that is unique to each park's seasonal event. And then you have the resort merchandise, which is merchandise shared by both parks. And then on top of that, they have like this black costume design concept happening this year. And then, of course, you have the Duffy and Friends merchandise, which, as usual, they're kind of doing their own separate thing because they can. So, in a way, if you add all of that up, that makes like 4 or 5 different unique merchandise lines alone happening at the same time, just for the Halloween event. Now, if you've checked out the English website for information about the Halloween event, you'll find that there's not much to it, which is why I'll be sharing with you information that I pulled from the Japanese website, which contains a lot more details about the event, including decorations, the kind of shows or parades you'll be seeing, limited time menu items, and of course, the merchandise. Now, before I go any further, you should know that I am not doing any pickup services or am I selling anything here, nor will I be sponsoring or recommending services of that sort. I purchase everything myself locally, so I have no real need for those services, and I wouldn't want to be sharing with you something that I personally haven't experienced myself anyway. So I hope you understand that. This video is for purely informational purposes. So what this is going to be is a browse with me video in which I put together a list of the merchandise that you can find at the parks, and we'll go through that together. We'll kind of be doing a sort of like window shopping together, or rather a browser window shopping. So how this is going to work is, first I'll give you a general overview of the merchandise that is available, and then I'll pick out a handful of them that I found to be particularly unique, or share with you some interesting tidbits because the packaging is only in Japanese. I'll also be sharing which ones that I consider are worth buying, and you'll also be able to see the retail price of the merchandise in case you're wondering how much they go for, or if you're planning a future Tokyo Disney trip and you're wondering what kind of budget you'll need. There's so much stuff to go through, there's a huge list, so I've divided this video into 4 parts. First, we'll go through Tokyo Disneyland, and then we'll head on over to Tokyo DisneySea. Then I'll share the resort merchandise, or merchandise shared by both parks, and end off with the souvenir items, or the limited time menu items. If you haven't already, I highly suggest that you understand the themes and the concepts of the event first. I've actually made a separate video explaining about this, which I will link in the description box below. So please watch that first before we go any further, as it will give you a greater appreciation of the art design and the concepts that go into the merchandise. And with that, let's head on over to Disneyland. So the first thing I picked out for sharing is this face towel. The characters are from the parade Spooky Boo, and it also shows you the main themes of the event, like the pumpkins and the ghosts. I love how colorful and vibrant the art concept is. What I also really like is that there's a different design in the background as opposed to the foreground with the characters. You can see like a sort of gray night sky. Then there are playful ghosts spanning across that sky, and a pumpkin and a couple of eyes. But what I really like is that hidden Mickey, or that Mickey-eared design. I'm really a sucker for them. I mean, you can stick them on almost anything and I'll get it purely for the hidden Mickey concept. There's especially quite a bit of apparel being sold this year, and this one is not a set. It's actually 3 pieces sold separately. So you have the top piece and a pair of gloves, and then the bottom, and all together they look like this. And even though they look like they're made to glow in the dark, I'm pretty sure that they don't, although I could be wrong. Here is the official t-shirt of the Halloween event, and because there's a larger surface area to work with compared to the face towel, they can fit a lot more like concepts or designs into it. A lot of the motifs and the elements that you'll find on the t-shirt are all taken from the day parade, the Spooky Boo parade. Again, I really love how vibrant and colorful it is. It's such a fun design. I personally would buy it myself. And that same design can also be found around the mug. And I love this mug because look at that handle. The handle has a little ghost that's cradling the top of it, and he's looking at you so adorably. I think that's just such a nice and unique touch. I would get it just for the handle. This is another thing I think it's worth buying just because of how creative it is. And not only that, there is an interior design, as in there is a design inside the cup. I really appreciate those kind of things. It's more like a peekaboo concept or a little secret that you can find. Like when you're drinking a dark beverage like coffee or tea, the more you drink it and slowly it reveals like a hidden concept. I think that's so amazing. And the inner design is that of the Chip and Dale, and the character that's sitting right next to them is the spooky version of the Teddy Bara, who is the character of the Country Bear Jamboree attraction, and you can find her on the float of Donald and Daisy, of course, from the day parade. There seems to be a big spotlight on that particular float, as in the Country Bear Jamboree spooks. They didn't have that last year, even though they were on the floats, but the merchandise for that particular float or the attraction is new to this year. Like this one. This is a plush keychain. Of course, it is of a character from the Country Bear Jamboree. I can't recall his name at the moment, but he comes with a removable pumpkin plush head, and he was so popular. I was surprised just how popular he was because he sold out on the first day of the release, and I never imagined that he would take so well to the Japanese crowds. And what's great about it is that because the pumpkin head is removable, you basically turn him into a normal plush if you remove the pumpkin head, and then during the Halloween time you can just stick that head back on, and there you have it. You have a Halloween version of this plush. This is a blind bag set of 6, and these are of charms. This is a charm collection. The charms are of different attractions or decorations scattered throughout the parks, and the little teddy bear wearing a frock is another parade piece. It's from the same float that has the Country Bear Jamboree attraction on it, and that orange elephant down in the bottom is from the Dumbo ride in Fantasyland. They put up that decoration only during the months of Halloween season, so it's a very limited time decoration. I think it's really neat for Tokyo Disney to turn like decorations into charms, which is a little unusual because normally these kinds of blind bags would be keychains, not charms. So I'm wondering how the Japanese people would use it, or how they would attach it to things, or what kind of things they would attach it to. I personally prefer keychains over charms because I don't have really anything to attach charms to. I mean, I don't wear bracelets, so this is like a head scratcher for me. I wouldn't know how to hang it. But anyway, they are a set of 6, and searching the internet for what the last one could be, I'm pretty sure it's this guy. He is of course a ghost, as that is one of the main concepts for the event this year, and I'm not too sure what he's holding in his hand. I don't think that's a candied apple, because as far as I know, they don't really sell candied apples at Tokyo Disney Resort, or maybe they do and I wasn't aware of it, but he's one of the many decorations of the Halloween event. Like I said, ghosts are a huge part of this year's merchandise, and this one is a ghost plush. His arms are made to be long so that you can drape them over you, over your shoulders, over your body, and that's pretty much as far as it goes. I think this is one of the most incredible things I've ever come across in Japan. A tissue box cover. I've never seen anything like it at the American parks or at the Paris park. If you have, please do let me know. I'm quite curious about this kind of thing and whether or not it's an Asian thing or it's an only Japan thing. I like that the design wrapping around the entire box is that of the Spooky Boo parade. You see a whole range of different characters and themes taken from the parade and captured on a box. If you haven't guessed yet, I really like the themes and the concept. And then you have this cute little ghost that's sitting right on top of it, and that is where the tissue comes out. You can see that there is a line across his back, and that is a slit where the tissue comes out of. And he's so happy. He's just like having such a good time. I just can't help but feel like happy looking at him being happy. The ghosts at Disneyland definitely have a playful or even mischievous vibe to them. They're not the kind that want to like scare you or anything. They just want to have fun, which is one of the main themes of the parade too. So I feel like Tokyo Disney is recently getting into a sort of garland kick. The last time I remember seeing one was during the time of the 35th anniversary event of Disneyland. They actually had released one at Tokyo DisneySea because Duffy and Friends were celebrating in their own way, as is usual of Duffy and Friends. And they released a garland of Duffy and Friends. So there seems to be more of like a garland trend that's been happening since then. And this one is of Chip and Dale and the Teddy Bara pumpkin bear, and they're hanging off of like a stream of eyes and cobwebs. I don't think it's made to be hung on the wall. It's actually like a good length to hang it off your door. So it's more like a door frame than anything. Oh, when I saw this, I thought it was pretty random because it doesn't have any shared elements of the other merchandise. These are plastic snack cases, and they carry small Mickey-shaped biscuits inside of them. They're made to look like jack-o'-lanterns or pumpkins, and Mickey is orange and Minnie is pink. And when I say random, I'm talking about the things on top of their heads. There are different stages of like cacti growth. I, for one, never thought to put together cactus and pumpkins as a Halloween concept. I think this is a good souvenir for young children, especially if they're not really taken with the other merchandise. It's a much more general concept. And that's pretty much all I want to share with you about the Halloween merchandise at Disneyland. I have to show you this washi tape because I feel like it's one of the things that best represents what Japan has done so well in terms of like giving stationery to the world. Japan has one of the most amazing stationery ideas ever. And here we have a washi tape that shows the main concepts of the live show, which is new this year, and it's called the Festival of Mystique. It's a lot more dark and mysterious compared to the playful atmosphere over at Disneyland. The design of the washi tape shows different Disney characters that appear in the live show. Notice that it's not as colorful or vibrant compared to Disneyland merch as well. The main color palette for this year's event is a lot of black and a lot of purple, and you'll find that scattered throughout much of the merchandise at DisneySea. Like this one. This one is a pair of glasses, and you'll notice the elegant design. I'd say that's because DisneySea is more geared towards adults compared to Disneyland, which is definitely geared more to children and families, which explains the whole dark and mysterious and elegant thing going on. Oh, I thought this was one of the coolest things when I first saw this. So this is an herbal tea set. It comes with a pack of 6 tea bags. With the tea bags, you'll also get packets of lemon syrup, and what that does is it changes the color of the tea. So when you add the lemon syrup to the blue tea, it changes into a purple color. And not only that, because it is lemon syrup, you're also changing the taste of the tea. I've never seen anything like this. I think it's a fun way to experience tea time. And I personally think this is one of those must-buys. What you could do is you could start off by drinking the tea in its original form, so drink it as blue. And then maybe halfway through your drink, you could add the syrup and enjoy the rest of the time drinking purple. This one is pretty straightforward. It's a keychain. It's a keychain figurine, and it has Mickey in the body of the candle. What's especially interesting that I found about this is that it lights up, so you can see like a silhouette of Mickey, and that's pretty much as far as this one goes. I thought this one would be interesting to share because you don't really see a lot of light up keychain figurines, you know? The design of the pillow best captures the concept or the art design of this year's event. On one side, you have this black background with purple wallpaper-ish like design. You kind of feel like there's a connection to the Haunted Mansion wallpaper design, but I don't really want to go in that route because I feel like that's more of what Disneyland is doing. I mean, a lot of their characters in the designs that they have on the merch, they're posing like the Haunted Mansion characters. And the Haunted Mansion is an attraction in Disneyland. It's not in DisneySea. DisneySea has the Tower of Terror though, so I'm a little surprised that they didn't take concepts from that attraction. Then on the back side you have Mickey and this phrase that says, "Step into a Halloween world of mystery and revelry." So those are the few picks I have for Tokyo DisneySea. The rest are pretty much straightforward, so I don't think you'll have any trouble figuring out what they are. Now let's go through some resort merchandise, which is merchandise shared by both Disneyland and DisneySea, so you can find these items at either park. The main concept or art design is of ghosts. And first up, I want to show you this amazing whiteboard. It's in the shape of a Mickey ghost, and what I especially like about it is that acting as a border is just a row of many different kinds of Mickey ghosts, and they're tracing around the border of this whiteboard. And that smaller white Mickey ghost that's attached to it is actually the eraser. If you think the purple whiteboard marker was a little too simple, you could get this invisible whiteboard marker. It's sold separately, so you have to buy it apart from the whiteboard set, but it's made to write in invisible ink or some sort of transparent ink, and what you do to reveal your secret message or drawing is to use the light that it comes with. There is a light attached to the end of the marker. You shine that on your secret writing and it will reveal it. This silicone mold, which you can use for making chocolates or pudding or jelly or even ice cubes. It has 4 different variants of the Mickey Ghost design. It'll add a really nice Halloween touch to whatever dessert or drink you'd like to bake. So of course there are plushes of the Mickey-eared ghosts, but what I want to point out is that these ghosts, the ends of their hands, there are clips attached to them. So what you do is you pin them to your shoulders. So they're made to look like they are peering over your shoulder kind of thing. I guess Tokyo Disney is really pushing the idea of wanting ghosts to hang around you literally this year. This poncho is amazing! Not only do they have Mickey ears on the top of the hood, but check out the hands of the ghosts. Yes, it's carrying a churros and it's drinking a soda like it's enjoying the park. Whether or not there are pockets for you to insert your hands into, it's not too clear about that. This set of 8 notepads, each one having its own unique design. What I especially like about it is that it comes in a bottle. So the bottle makes it so that you can preserve the condition of the notepads for a longer time because it's keeping it away from things like dust and even getting wet, you know? You don't see something like that every day, so I thought this was an especially unique thing. This is not whiteout, this is glue. Or like glue tape. It's a mix between those two. So it really functions similarly to those roll out whiteouts, but instead of rolling out whiteout, it rolls out tape or glue. And it's double-sided, so when you roll it out to the paper, you get an adhesive rolling. The Japanese literally call this glue tape. You don't have to worry about your glue drying out with this. You know, as in like when you're gluing things and you set the glue down aside and some of the top dries out because it's not currently in use, you don't have to worry about something like that with this glue tape. This is worth buying just for the sake of, I think, pure experience. Now let's get into the souvenir items. How you can get the souvenir merch is that there are particular menu items like food or drinks that give you the option of adding on a souvenir item. And I personally think a great souvenir of your Disney trip. There are, however, a few that are shared by both parks, like this one over here. This is of the resort merchandise line, so you can get it at either Disneyland or DisneySea. And this is a pouch. The front design is of Mickey-eared ghosts, and you can see them in different kinds of forms, and they're playing around basically throughout the park. And the back design is just a very simple purple background with a ghost looking at itself in the mirror wearing a witch's hat. Here's that same ghost design just in plate form, and the design is around the rim of the plate. Here's a tray, and I love just how colorful it is, and especially in the background of that white Mickey-eared ghost, you have rows and rows of different Mickey ghosts, and they're all unique. And the side graphics that are bordering the ghosts, it's giving me it's a small world kind of feel. I think this is so neat. These are candy cases in the shape of gumball machines. My goodness, that's so creative. This is like Tokyo Disney level. I really like that little ghost sitting on top, and they're actually functional gumball machines, as in you can put the candy inside the body and you turn that key and out comes candy. And it comes with 2 different kinds of candy. You can choose for it to come in chocolate or jelly beans. I've personally never tried the chocolate before. If you have, please do let me know what you thought of it. Here's another plastic candy case, and what's really awesome about this is that it's of the Doom Buggy of the Haunted Mansion attraction. I love the Haunted Mansion attraction, and I thought this was just such a good idea for a candy case. In case you're wondering, it does not glow in the dark. So that was park-wide merchandise. Now let's go into exclusive souvenir items. What makes them particularly attractive and unique is that they are exclusive to the parks that they are being sold at. So Disneyland souvenirs are only available at Disneyland, and if you want some at DisneySea, you'll have to go there to get them. They're not shared by the parks, which makes them very unique collectible items. And this one is of Tokyo Disneyland, as you can tell by the art concept. This mug is made to hold that dessert cup. So it's a rather small mug. It's not really one of your regular sized mugs. I'm pretty sure though you can use it for drinking espresso. Here's a lunch bag, and the design wrapping around it is that of the Spooky Boo Parade. What I especially like about this one is that it captures the nephews on the bottom, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And if their pose looks familiar, it's because they're made to simulate the poses of the hitchhiking ghosts from the Haunted Mansion attraction. I love the Haunted Mansion, so I especially liked that touch. This is exclusive to Tokyo DisneySea, and it is a lunch bag. You'll see how very different it is compared to the Disneyland merch. You can see the main color palette being purple and black. You can see how much more toned down or how elegant it is compared to the Disneyland lunch bag we saw earlier. Just two colors really, purple and black, and it has this sort of wallpaper-like pattern. Here's another cup, and it's made to hold that dessert. It's a much more simple design. And with that, that wraps up the merchandise of the Halloween event at Tokyo Disney Resort. I hope you enjoyed going through it with me. Feel free to let me know which ones you found were interesting or that you would consider buying. I myself picked up a few items, and I'll be sharing that haul in another video, so please keep a lookout for that. If you found this video helpful, or if you want to see more content like this, I hope you'll consider subscribing and hitting that bell. Thank you so much for sharing and spending your time with me. May you have a magical day, and I'll see you in the next video.